The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
John Mousinho has given fans some good news about when they can expect to see Callum Lang back in action for Pompey. The gaffer says Lang is on track to return against Millwall next month, as he works his way back from hamstring surgery. The home fixture against the Lions comes after the international break, which lines up with the original recovery timeline after Lang went under the knife in August. Lang picked up the knock during the Norwich defeat at Fratton Park, with doctors initially suggesting a 4 to 8 week layoff. After getting a second opinion, they decided surgery was the best way forward, especially since Lang had already missed over 2 months last season with a similar hamstring issue picked up against Oxford. Langy's doing fine, coming along nicely, Mousinho said. We're looking at about 12 weeks total, and he's targeting that Millwall game for his comeback. As for other injury news, Josh Murphy might just make it back for this weekend's clash with table-toppers Middlesbrough, but it'll be tight. The treatment room is still pretty full, with Nico Schmid nursing a broken hand, while Connor Shaughnessy, hamstring, and Thomas Waddingham, quad, are also out. None of those three will be ready for the Leicester trip on October 18th. Nothing's changed with Murph, Mousinho added. And the others who are out long-term won't be back by then. Meanwhile, new signing Franco Ume is still waiting to make his debut after his £500,000 move from Crystal Palace on deadline day. The young Irishman arrived carrying a hamstring problem from pre-season, and while there were hopes he'd be training this week, that's been pushed back. Fans will have to wait until after the international break to see the 20-year-old winger in action. Franco's hamstring is still giving him grief, Mousinho explained. He missed pre-season at Palace with it, so we won't see him before the international break.
We're really looking forward to having Callum Lang available for selection again, aren't we? Because he does the lot, he ticks all the boxes. He's a northern lad through and through, but he fits in so well at Portsmouth because he's got those characteristics that we like to see in a player. It's not essential, but if a player, besides having the ability, the tactical understanding, the fundamental skills, bit of pace, if he's also industrious, if he also is happy to go in for the 50-50s regardless, if he makes his way across the pitch backwards and forwards, harrying, pressing, and then when he gets the ball, is he looking to take his man on? And you know what? I think he, possibly more than any other Pompey player we've had recently and have at the moment, he wants to... no, Sigurcic, actually, he likes to take a man on, doesn't he? But Lang would run at players and he knew how to get around them. He wasn't the quickest. He didn't do it with acceleration or pace. He did it with skill. He did it with what we used to call dribbling skills. And can he score goals? You don't find the back of the net 4 times in one game unless you've got that killer instinct in front of goal. And if I remember rightly, did he not do the sort of magic hat trick of one with his left foot, one with his right foot and one with his head when he scored those 4? Oh yes, we want Callum Lang back big time. Millwall, watch out.
I'm so delighted to secure my future with the club. We're on a good journey here at the moment and I'm excited to be a part of it. Everything just fits into place and we're all moving in the right direction, so that's why I wanted to sign a new deal. I'm so settled down here and enjoy playing alongside the rest of the boys under this head coach, who puts a lot of faith in me to deliver. The fans are also so great, both at Fratton Park and when we're on the road, and I love playing in front of them. Everything just fits into place and we're all moving in the right direction, so that's why I wanted to sign a new deal.
John Mousinho said, "We're absolutely thrilled that Josh has committed his future to the club because he's someone we value so highly. He had an amazing first season here at Pompey and played such a key role in ensuring we maintained the championship status we worked so hard to achieve. We're absolutely thrilled that Josh has committed his future to the club because he's someone we value so highly. The number of goals and assists Josh contributed speaks for itself, and I wouldn't swap him for any other winger in the division. He's a massive part of what we want to achieve at Pompey, both this season and hopefully for many years to come."
It seems likely that a good deal of work has gone into extending Josh Murphy's contract for a variety of reasons. One, because there is every confidence that he's going to be able to carry on doing what he's been doing the last season and a half for another 2 or 3 seasons. 3 seasons. I think the contract is for, isn't it? An extra 3 seasons above and beyond now. But also, it has to be said that if some big gun or guns come in, guns blazing for him, offering large amounts of money to Pompey, and Josh Murphy wants to go, then at least with this new contract, it means that we are going to be able to hold the other club to ransom for his transfer fee for not just the rest of this season, the season after. So that could well turn out to be a good bit of business, one way or another. Good business with what we do on the pitch, because of what he does on the park, but also possibly good business behind the scenes financially.
The visit of Middlesbrough might see a return to the Fratton pitch of Sammy Silvera, whose loan to Pompey didn't work out, as John Mousinho explains.
For whatever reason, things didn't quite work out, but Sammy was sat here last year in a side that hadn't won a game. He probably didn't have the best platform to necessarily perform as well. I'm sure he would have wanted to do a bit better here, but ultimately we didn't have a very good first half of the season. And Sammy suffered for that as well. It happens, it just happens. You've got a young player coming over from Australia. He had a pretty good season, his first season in the Championship, then came out on loan, and there were a couple of loans which didn't 100% work out like he would have wanted them to work out. You just have to be patient with players a lot of the time. I'm not saying that certain players have made it or certain players have thought this is it off the back of a couple of questions that have been asked. If you look at Mignoc, the questions were being asked 2 or 3 weeks ago when he hadn't made an appearance for 5 games. Why have we got him here? Is he going to have an impact? What's he going to do for the first team? You just have to be patient with some of these players. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Players are always judged on performances at the end of the day, and to see Sammy back in and doing well is pleasing, just as long as it doesn't happen on Saturday. He came into a side that wasn't very good in the first half of the season. He would have been disappointed with some of his own performances, and by the same token I don't think we particularly played to his strengths.
We'll talk about what happens when players lose confidence in a moment. But sticking with Sammy Silvera, he lost confidence. The club wasn't winning any games. He, I believe, felt that he was shouldering an unfair portion of the blame for that. And when some Pompey fans started chanting that chant, which I'm not going to repeat, I was ashamed to be a Pompey fan, chanting that at a young man who had clear skills and potential and needed to be encouraged, because people do, to produce his best, and instead they chanted what they chanted. What did he feel like? Did he not want to get out of Portsmouth as quick as possible? I bet he went home and packed his bags. And will never come back unless, of course, and this is a danger, it's not the danger against Middlesbrough, but there is a danger that he might come back to Fratton Park, start the game, or more likely get called on. I believe he's had 6 appearances for Middlesbrough so far this season and played very well and got picked for the Australian national squad. So he's starting to really shape up a potent career, which he wasn't able to do with us for reasons. Did that have anything to do with the way the fans behaved? You can't rule it out. You can only say it's possible. In which case it's a double disgrace to treat him the way certain fans treated him. But is he going to come back desperately hungry to score a goal against us because of that? Which would just be yet another reason why you don't chant at your own player what some fans chanted at him. Not on Saturday, but for the rest of his career, at Pompey Sound we wish him well.
John Mousinho is quick to silence any mutterings that his star striker has gone off the boil.
In terms of goal scoring, Colby is always going to be disappointed with not scoring. He has proven time and time again that he's got the ability to come back and put the ball into the back of the net. For my very first season here, there were question marks over him with a short barren run he had towards the back of the campaign, and he ended up with 24 goals. Then he got 21 goals in the promotion season. In a lot of ways he probably bettered that last year. Not in terms of sheer numbers, but managing to score 11 goals in a season where he had open heart surgery. Colby will want to score more. I am sure he will want to improve upon his form at the moment as well. He's a very realistic young lad and knows exactly where he needs to improve. Certainly there are a lot of players at the minute we can ask a bit more from. There are plenty of areas of improvement and plenty of things we can do better. There are certain things we can do as a team as well, to help him more. There is never any question in my mind how good Colby is, the contribution he's had to this football club and what he will do going forward. Any time there has ever been any doubt in his contribution and playing ability, he comes back and proves everyone wrong. I have seen it time and time and time again. There's no issue, anyone can break down performance and criticize individuals or the team, but certainly in Colby's case, he has proven how big a player he is for us, and how important he is for the football club. Ultimately, I know he's going to keep doing it for many years.
Colby Bishop is not suffering from a goal drought. I'm telling you that because we believe that that is absolutely the case. It is the bane of the life of every striker, everyone whose job is mainly to score goals, although of course he does a lot more than that. When they go 2 or 3 or more games and they've had a few half chances and they've had a bit of bad luck, and all of a sudden people who don't know their football are using the dread phrase goal drought. Well, I've been looking up, doing some research into goal droughts and how they come about, when they come about, and Colby Bishop is not suffering from one, but it's an interesting phenomenon anyway, and obviously it only besets strikers, and they share information amongst themselves about it. Going way back, Arsenal had an excellent striker called Alan Smith, but he was playing for Arsenal and scoring goals for fun when Ian Wright appeared on the scene, and Arsenal slightly adjusted the way that they played in order to take advantage of the way not only Alan Smith scored goals, but Ian Wright scored goals. And that began to erode Alan Smith's confidence. And he said that he started snatching at chances. And then when he realised that the ball wasn't going in the way that he normally managed to make it do almost without thinking about it, he felt that he started to unconsciously or semi-consciously not want the ball, not make the runs. And then the thing that killed his confidence was that a youngster called Kevin Campbell had just broken into the Arsenal first team, and he arrived at training in a new Mercedes with the number plate Kev 9 on it. But 9 was Smith's number. So Smith began to wonder whether this youngster was muscling in. Was Alan Smith being replaced? He even wondered if it's the end. And Smith isn't the only one to suffer from the crisis of confidence that can beset a striker. Andy Cole said, "I've been in that position. Psychologically, you don't really want the ball." And there was a Liverpool striker I remember called Fernando Torres who could not stop scoring for Liverpool. I think he scored something like 70 goals, more maybe, in his first 3 seasons with them. And then, all of a sudden, he wasn't scoring anymore. And he and the manager, I think it was Roy Hodgson, got together and discussed it. And Hodgson tried to talk him out of the feeling that he might not ever be able to have that touch again. And they devised even training routines whereby 8 attackers would play against 2 defenders, meaning that in these practice sessions, these training mock-ups, there'd be loads of goals going in. And the idea was that Torres would start scoring goals in these 8-on-2 games, which, probably you and I would have tucked a few away. And that would increase confidence, and it would remind the player of what he can do. And he can possibly bring that extra sharpness and confidence onto the pitch. Well, it didn't happen for Torres. In fact, Liverpool sold him. They sold him to Chelsea. And if anything, the goals, which were few and far between, almost completely dried up. It's a fascinating concept, the goal drought. If it happens to a player, it has not happened to Colby Bishop. With John Mousinho, that he will carry on scoring goals because it's what he does, and he's very good at it. He doesn't need people wondering whether the goals have dried up or whether he's lost it. We mustn't do that. Would I tell you if I thought he is having a goal drought? No, because anything and everything that can contribute to a player's loss of confidence and consequent loss of form has to be avoided at all costs. But I genuinely don't believe Colby Bishop is anywhere near any kind of goal drought. I bet you he puts one away against Middlesbrough. And will he cup his ears at the people who've been negative about him in the recent couple of days? No, I hope not. I hope not, because he knows better than that, and he knows better than them.